This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hello, everybody. It is the After Party live on Hide in Your Cave Monday, and I have a caves in Honduras today to talk about. One of them, a glowing cave with skulls and bone fragments and a creepy history. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. Lots of cool pictures today to look at as well. Thank you for being here. Yvonne talking about the buttfish. I can't wait to tell you about this one. It is, I'll tell you what that big brown thing is, and you may be surprised to find out it is indeed another living creature. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's start right in because there's so many stories to tell you about and not a lot of time to do it. But the first story I have for you today is about this mongoose. And I do this story only because of the picture. Look at this little mongoose. It almost looks like he's smiling for the camera, you might think. I don't know. He escaped. He's another escaped creature. And this guy is on the Isle of Man in the UK, and he's on the loose. It's a yellow mongoose. He's been spotted at least 15 miles away from the zoo, so he's made it pretty far. This again, a yellow mongoose who escaped from this wildlife park on Britain's Isle of Man. He was spotted in a city 15 miles away. His name is, I want to say Jeff, but it's spelled G-E-F. So Geff or Jeff. I'm saying Jeff. He escaped from the Curragh Wildlife Park last week by burrowing out of his enclosure where he and the other yellow mongoose are kept. They've searched the area. They were very surprised, though, the folks at the wildlife park, to get a call from 15 miles away saying, "Hey, I think I just saw your yellow mongoose." He's one of two yellow mongoose pups born last September. The veterinarians were in the process of trying to determine gender when Jeff escaped. So I should say they instead of he, right? The other mongoose has been determined to be female. Jeff is now believed to be a male, though, on the hunt for a mate. They say they were surprised at how far away he got, but these mongoose do travel quite far in the wild to find new territory and a new mate. They are hoping to find Jeff and rehome him at another zoo as part of a breeding program. I say they're going to check traps that they've set for Jeff twice a day. They think they know where he's been in the last few days, but Jeff on the run. I kind of hope, and I guess maybe it's not good to hope because there's no mate for him and no kind of, I don't know, can't really do the things he feels like he needs to do like the otters can. Remember we saw the otters that escaped and one of them they can't catch and they say otter is choosing to be free. But it's kind of nice for Jeff to be on the run for a while, maybe experiencing freedom and not in an enclosure. Although I don't know how the situation there is at the wildlife park. How about this story? I saw these pictures and I thought this is worth sharing with you because some of these pictures are incredible. These are images, 15 images from the 2025 UN World Oceans Day photo competition. And I have them here to show you. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Make it bigger so that we can look at these. Here it is. You guys see these pictures? I think it's the way I have the screen organized today. Let me see if I can do this better. Nope. Nope. There you go. Okay. Sorry about that. These are, the best, the most riveting. Look at that. Look at that guy. The most riveting images from the 2025 UN World Oceans Day photo competition. And look at this one. This is a little underwater face. Yep. It's a leopard seal from the Antarctic Peninsula. Gorgeous. And here's another picture that made the list. Look at that. Incredible. picture. This one is taken in French Polynesia, the eye of a humpback whale named Sweet Girl, days before she died. They say 4 days after this picture was taken, this humpback named Sweet Girl was struck and killed by a fast moving ship. Sad and unfortunate, but what an incredibly moving picture of Sweet Girl. There's another picture that is just so beautiful. And this one is got an honorable mention. This is another photo of a leopard seal, a very versatile hunter. Look at that. You can see the land in the background, underwater picture of a leopard seal. Almost the seal saying, "What are you doing? Taking my picture. What do you want in my area?" This this is a predator, fast-moving predator. They prey on everything from cephalopods and penguins to other seals even. The gentoo penguins are a favorite meal of the leopard seal. Here's a picture from above. This is a above water seascape winner, a serene lake cradled by arid dunes. Look at that. Gorgeous picture. Oops, center it a little bit for you. A serene lake cradled by arid dunes where a gentle stream breathes life into the heart of Mother Earth's creation. This from the winner of the competition of above water seascapes. The image reveals the contrast and hidden beauty where the land and the ocean meet. Is the next picture. That's just a beautiful scene, isn't it? Yeah. This one is third place in the above water seascapes. It's Paradise Harbor, one of the most beautiful places on the Antarctic Peninsula. This picture taken when the sea was extremely calm and there was a clear reflection of the Suarez Glacier, also called the Petzval Glacier, in the water. Beautiful. There's another picture. This one is the Underwater Seascapes third place winner. Incredible shot. Look at that. You wonder, what is that rock formation? It's called La Rapadura. It's a natural hidden treasure on the northern coast of Tenerife in the Spanish territory of the Canary Islands. Only discovered in 1996, it's one of the most astonishing underwater landscapes in the world, consistently ranking among the planet's best dives. These are towering columns of basalt, the result of the volcanic processes that occurred between 500,000 and 1,000,000 years ago. The formation created when a basaltic lava flow reached the ocean, where upon cooling and solidifying, it contracted, creating natural structures often compared to the pipes of church organs. It's another great shot. This is an Underwater Seascapes winner. Check out those jellyfish. Look at them all. Not a great place to swim. Don't jump in that water. Don't do it. This is a jellyfish lake. It's on the southern coast of Raja Ampat, Indonesia. Millions of jellyfish. They have evolved to lose their stinging ability due to the absence of predators, and it was called one of the most breathtaking visions in the world. Gorgeous. Underwater Seascapes, second place. Look at the rays. This is a school of rays in a cleaning station. Strong currents attract these rays to this spot regularly. Some of them have grown accustomed to divers, allowing close encounters like this. Now, this is quite the shot. Look at that. Pretty incredible. This is in the category Wonder, sustaining what sustains us, and it's the third place winner, shot in Cuba. This protected shark sanctuary called Jardines de la Reina. This image captures a Caribbean reef shark weaving through a group of silky sharks near the surface. Really cool. So they blurred the other sharks and got this guy. This is above the water seascape's second place. Look at this one. You can see what the birds are seeing up there. Northwestern Morris bassanus gannets soar above the dramatic cliffs of Scotland's Nature Reserve. Beautiful. These seabirds, the largest in the North Atlantic, are renowned for their striking plunge dives, reaching speeds at 100 kilometers per hour or 60 miles per hour as they hunt for fish beneath the waves. Beautiful. Above the water seascapes, honorable mention. I love this one. Look at that beautiful shot. This is a South Atlantic swell breaking in the Dungeons Reef off the Cape Peninsula, South Africa. Shot while photographing a big wave surf session. Really, really pretty. Here's a humpback popping up. This is the Wonders Sustaining What Sustains Us honorable mention. And you're only seeing half the shot here. Let me get the full shot up. Look at that. That's magical. This is a humpback migrating along the Ningaloo Reef in Western Australia. And here you can see this encounter where they're, I forget the term for this. Is it spy hop? You can see most of the whale below and the head popping out of the water. Here's a cool one. This is Big and Small Underwater Faces second place. And thanks for bearing with me on this because these pictures I think are so fascinating. Look at that. Trying to make it bigger so you can see it. This is in a blackwater dive in the Philippines. This creature moving pretty deep. It's a rare blanket octopus. They call it this blanket octopus because of its beautiful blanket with a multicolored mantle. Really deep sea creature. So beautiful. Here's another one. This is the Big and Small Underwater Faces winner. This is a picture of a Japanese war bonnet captured in the Sea of Japan. Look at that face. Again, that's the winner of the Big and Small Underwater Faces. Here's another one, second place, Sustaining What Sustains Us. It is a juvenile pinnate batfish captured with a slow shutter speed, and the result is almost ethereal, I would say. It's a sense of motion and drama. These juvenile batfish are known for their striking black bodies outlined in vibrant orange. It's a coloration they lose within just a few months as they mature. And so there you go. Those are the 15 riveting images from the 2025 UN World Oceans Day photo competition. Incredible shots, and I'm happy to be able to share them with you. All right, let's move to the next story because how about breathing? We know that there are certain things that are unique to just you. No one is like you in that fingerprints, right, are unique to you. The ridges on our tongues, unique to your personage. The patterns of your iris in your eye, unique to you. But there's a new study that shows your breathing pattern over the course of a day is also unique to you. This study, published in the journal Current Biology last week, shows that people can be reliably identified by their breathing patterns alone. And these patterns seem to be correlated with indicators of physical and mental health as well. That's kind of cool. I mean, the way I guess, I think breathe in, breathe out. How personalized could that be? But apparently it is. The breathing regulated by the brain. Each inhale and exhale that you take triggers electrical activity in neurons. The respiration connected to several brain areas, including those related to cognition, emotions, memory. They the researchers started with this premise. Brains are unique, ergo, breathing patterns would also be unique. So to test it, they developed this wearable device that tracked nasal airflow over 24 hours, and they recorded details like the duration of each breath, the time between breaths, the amount of air passing through each nostril. They had 100 people participate in this study. They wore this device while they went about their daily routines, logged their activities in an app rather. And the scientists that did this say they were able to identify the participants based on their breathing patterns alone with 96.8% accuracy using a machine learning program. And that level of accuracy is consistent across retests spanning 2 years, which allowed the researchers to train the algorithm. They say it's very rare that you can predict a biological process so accurately. Not only can it, tell you which person you're looking at, they can also apparently tell other things about you by your breathing. Certain breathing patterns correlate with other traits, body mass index, levels of depression and anxiety. I could see people maybe with a higher body mass index would could breathe deeper or maybe get out of breath more often. Maybe, but I'm surprised about the depression and anxiety. They say people who score higher on anxiety questionnaires had shorter inhales and more varied pauses in breathing during sleep. Those with higher depression scores tended to exhale more quickly. Fascinating. The scientists say that it looks like how depressed or anxious you are changes the way that you breathe, but it might be the other way around. Perhaps the way you breathe makes you anxious or depressed. And if that's true, they think maybe you could changing the way you breathe might affect the conditions. So right now they're working on understanding whether mimicking healthy breathing patterns can help people improve their well-being. I love this story. It is so interesting. Okay, there was a Pedro Pascal lookalike contest. Here's the real guy. Want to see the winner? That's a pretty good winner, don't you think? He looks a lot like him. Mm-hmm. The winner gets $50 and free burritos. Look at that. This is a contest held by a Mexican restaurant in New York. About 30 people came out to compete for the best impersonation of Pedro Pascal. It's the Sun del Norte Mexican restaurant on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. The the contest was inspired by a comment that Pedro Pascal made in 2023 that there's no good Mexican food in New York City. And the restaurant says, there is, and we're here. The competition won by Pedro number 5, seen here, Brooklyn dad, George Gontas. He is a lighting designer for Comedy Central's The Daily Show. His wife urged him to compete. He said it started when Game of Thrones came out the first time. That's when we first heard it. Then some kids started saying, hey, your dad looks a lot like Pedro Pascal. So for Father's Day, for a Father's Day treat, he went down there to participate in the contest. He got the $50 and the free burritos for a year from Sun del Norte. So there you go. That's pretty strong resemblance. I can see why people think he's Pedro Pascal. Yep. Check out this lobster. finally catching a break. This 110-year-old lobster that was spotted in a New York restaurant is now being returned to the sea. It's a 21-pounder, estimated to be 110 years old, released back into the open sea by a New York seafood restaurant. Peter's Clam Bar in Hempstead, Long Island, said this lobster named Lorenzo has been living at the restaurant for years. Lorenzo, they say, just kind of slipped through the cracks and ended up in our tank for years. So freeing Lorenzo seemed like an appropriate way to celebrate National Lobster Day and Father's Day. The restaurant folks say some of these lobsters don't live that long, but this one did. So we figured what better way to celebrate Father's Day than by freeing Lorenzo. He became like a pet. People would come see Lorenzo and take pictures with him, and he was like he was an object at the store. There was even a town supervisor that teamed up with the restaurant to pardon Lorenzo prior to his release at the Atlantic Beach Reef. And now they're hoping Lorenzo is living his best life, soaking up the salty breeze. Lorenzo free. Here's a lotto of the day story for you. This husband predicted his wife would win. Hey, you got to go play the lottery. I think you're going to win it. This is in North Carolina. This woman said her husband predicted she would hit the big one right before she scored a $150,000 lottery prize. The woman is from Nashville. She won the lottery in North Carolina, though. She says her husband always tells her, "You're going to hit the big one, baby." He told me yesterday, too, right before I got the ticket. So she visited the Easy Stop, selected a Super Lotteria ticket. She said something just told her to get that ticket, and she was shocked to reveal a $150,000 prize. She said, "I was so nervous, I couldn't even drive home." This is kind of a weird story because there must be a Nashville, North Carolina, as well as a Nashville, Tennessee. She's from Nashville, but she's a North Carolina woman who won in North Carolina. So I don't know, but she hit the big one. That's what we all need. Our spouses or loved ones telling us, "Time for you to play. Gonna hit the big one." Here's a picture of the aurora borealis, and apparently we could see another one this week. Dim, but it's possible. The sun has been crackling with these eruptions, solar flares, that sometimes lead to this phenomenon of auroras glowing in the night sky. Could be a little tricky this week, though. They're not sure how to predict this one. Solar flares detected Sunday and Monday blast these clouds of charged particles into space. And when the particles collide with the Earth's atmosphere, they can create these ribbons of light across the sky. So, the recent eruptions weren't pointed directly at the Earth, but they should come close enough to maybe give us some auroras Wednesday and Thursday. They might not become visible across parts of the northern United States, or they might become visible across parts of the northern United States. They say that a widespread aurora outbreak like the ones we saw in May and October of last year, not expected, but that we might see something. Not so sure if we'll see it in California. As far as where it will be visible, perhaps this minor geomagnetic storm, level 1 of 5, is likely this week. They need to usually be at a level 2 of 5 for an aurora to appear across the far northern US under ideal conditions. There will be clouds across the Northeast, the Great Lakes, and the Northern Plains because of showers and thunderstorms, and that could keep people from being able to see it. But the area of the sun that's been bursting with these solar flares continues to be active, and so additional eruptions could increase the likelihood of seeing this aurora despite the short nights around the solstice. So we'll see. I'll always pop outside and look just in case. All right, here's the story of the day. Look at that fish. Oh, I'm telling you, makes you grateful for the life you're living. This is a pearlfish. It calls the sea cucumber's butt home and apparently can reverse park into tight spaces. The pearlfish is famous for its hiding skills. It is a small, slender, scaleless fish. It's a bit defenseless, but it's found a unique way to be successful in life. It lives inside the anus of sea cucumbers, the underdogs of life. The pearlfish's front door is literally the butt of this creature. The crazy. This pearlfish belongs to this ray-finned fish family, and there are many species. They come in many colors. They're all long and thin, lacking in scales, making them look somewhat eel-like. Some adult pearlfish can grow to about 20 inches in length. Why do they hide inside of sea cucumber butts? Well, some of them live independently, but some species use their noodly bodies to parasite other animals or use them as temporary accommodations. Uh, there's no getting hunted inside of a sea cucumber. Uh, Often, it would be ruined by the toxins released by many sea cucumber species, but the pearlfish coat themselves in a generous layer of mucus that protects them from the toxic effects and might make for a smoother entrance into the rear end of the sea cucumber. The sea cucumber is forced to tolerate letting the situation occur because they can't clamp down forever. They breathe through their anuses, and the repeated opening and closing of this orifice is how they get oxygen carrying water to their respiratory trees inside of them. Trees that can be expelled to deter attackers. So that's why. Yeah. Kind of a surprise. There apparently in some cases many pearlfish living inside this orifice. Ah, the way we live. Another story for you. This one is about urns in the Amazon. Look at that. What a discovery. Massive urns containing the remains of humans and turtles were found buried in the Amazon. They only found these urns because a tree fell in a remote region of the Brazilian Amazon, and local villagers spotted something big and strange underneath the exposed roots. They called in some archaeologists, and here's what they found: buried objects that were in fact ancient funerary urns containing pre-Hispanic human and animal skeletons. In all, 7 of these urns were found, 2 of them described as large. It's unclear which ancient Amazonian culture they represent or how long they'd been there, but they're very large in volume. They lack ceramic lids, which could suggest that they were sealed with organic materials that have since decomposed. They were found buried 16 inches deep, probably, they think, beneath old houses. They're not sure. But when they opened up these urns, they found human bones as well as the remains of fish and turtles, which may have related to funerary customs or perhaps dietary practices. They also analyzed the vessels and they found they were made using a range of ceramic techniques, hinting at perhaps a long lost multicultural society that has until now gone unnoticed. The researchers discovered the use of a green clay previously identified at a small number of other sites within this region, but it's still unclear if these urns are directly related to any known pre Columbian ceramic tradition. Fascinating. They say it's a sophisticated indigenous engineering technique, which demonstrates significant land management and population density. So there you have it. The urns excavated with the help of locals from the village of Sao Lázaro, transported on river canoes to a laboratory in Tefe, where they're currently undergoing further analysis as they work to learn more about this mysterious ancient culture that once lived in this corner of the Amazon. It is time for, you ready for it? Hide in your cave Monday. I don't know. It feels a little, after the No Kings protest over the weekend, it feels like a day to come out and be a little celebratory, but we'll hide in our cave. We have a couple of different ones. One of them is this cave, Cuevas de Taulabe. Cuevas de Taulabe. Both of these caves that I'll show you today are located in Honduras. And here it is. Check it out. Obviously, they have artificial colors and lighting in this cave. You can see they have a great walkway, make it easy for people to get down in there. It sure is something special. This Cuevas de Taulabe has quite a story that goes along with it, though. It's one of the two real show caves in Honduras with concrete trails and electric light. It was discovered during the construction of a freeway between San Pedro Sula and another town in 1969. When they were excavating for this highway, one of the tractors fell into this ravine, and that's when they discovered this is an enormous cave. It's named for a nearby town. The word Taulabe is from the indigenous language in the area, and it means meeting of roads or the path of the jaguar. Now, before this became a show cave, it was the hideout for a Honduran hijacker, Frederick William Hanman, who apparently hijacked Eastern Airlines Flight 175 from Allentown, Pennsylvania to Miami, Florida in 1972, a Boeing with 48 passengers. He forced the airline to give him $303,000 in cash, 6 parachutes, food, and cigarettes. The plane landed at Dulles and in New Orleans, Louisiana. After he got the money, he freed the passengers and ordered the pilots to fly to northern Honduras, where he parachuted between the port cities of Tela and La Ceiba. Landing in this area, he walked several kilometers, took a bus to Tela, cut his hair, and continued on. There was a bounty put out for him. Eventually, he was betrayed by a friend, and that is when he fled to Cuevas de Taulabe and hid here in this cave for about 20 days. Finally, a relative convinced him to surrender, and he turned himself into the U.S. Embassy. They had him sentenced to life imprisonment, but he was released after 12 years in 1984, and he died in 1991 at the age of 69. The United States government recovered the ransom money. It was recovered, but there still are rumors, though, that he left the money hidden under the cave. Interesting. The rocks around Taulabe are limestones, and there are 28 known caves in this area. Gets really warm down here. Really warm. glasses and photo equipment fog when you enter this cave. They say a warm jacket is also a bad idea, but good walking shoes are not. And that is the story of Cuevas de Taulabe. I have another cave to show you, and this one is hold on, I have a picture of it. Oh, that's Taulabe. Yeah. This one is the Talgua Cave, Talgua, Talgua Cave. And it is known because of its bone deposits in this area. Pretty interesting. I have some information about it. This is a cave where they found 23 deposits containing skeletons, 20 of which contained the remains of more than one person. Pretty interesting. The Talgua Caves have been renamed at one point the Cave of the Glowing Skull because of how the light reflected in the calcite deposits found in the bones in this burial cave. There is a main ossuary chamber within this cave, and then another tunnel containing 3 passageways was also found. And again, 23 deposits containing skeletons with more than one person. All of these vestiges described as appearing to be secondary burials moved from their initial burial sites, the bones likely packaged in a cloth material and carried into the cave through an old entrance which no longer exists. All of the skeletal remains in the cave have long since been cemented into the ground by calcite. In addition to the human bones, there were at least 20 intact ceramic vessels found in this cave as well. Researchers are still trying to figure out, did anyone live in this cave? And if so, who was it? There are numerous links between the people of Talgua. They think this is not a Mayan site. That's what they do know. The Talgua caves are open to the public, but the sites where the glowing bones were discovered, those areas are still under investigation. So again, this is the Talgua cave in Honduras. Pretty interesting. And that, my friends, oh no, I have one more story I want to show you. We talked about the auroras, but check this out. This is and that was Hide in Your Cave Monday, by the way. This is a story about the first ever direct images of the sun's south pole captured by the Solar Orbiter spacecraft. Its tilted orbit, the spacecraft's tilted orbit, is allowing scientists to investigate the mechanisms behind space weather that impacts everything we do here on Earth. The areas that we've been able to see because of this are spots we've not been able to see before. The south pole of the sun. These are the very first views of this polar region. It was at an angle of 15 degrees below the solar equator. A few days later, the orbiting spacecraft reached a viewing angle of 17 degrees. And all the pre-existing images of the sun were taken from within about 7 degrees of its equator. Because every spacecraft orbiting the star, along with every planet in our solar system, swoops around the sun in a flat disk called the ecliptic plane, which is tilted about 7.25 degrees relative to the sun's equatorial plane. This Ulysses spacecraft is the only one to have passed over the sun's poles. It didn't have a camera, though. So the poles are effectively not visible because we always see them almost exactly at edge on. But now scientists have tilted the solar orbiter's trajectory out of the ecliptic plane, allowing it to view the South Pole directly. Here's another shot, another picture. For the first time ever, we get to see that part of the sun. Kind of cool. The ability to observe these poles, according to scientists, is really important when it comes to understanding how the sun's magnetic field operates on a global scale, leading to an 11-year cycle in the sun's activity. The sun's magnetic field flips every 11 years or so, and when it does, it reaches a peak level of solar activity. They say the sun has reached one such solar maximum last fall, which helps explain all of the recent bouts of our intense solar flares that we're getting. They say the new observations from this solar orbiter have revealed the sun's magnetic field is currently a mess at the South Pole, a clear sign of a solar maximum. When the sun is at its minimum, you have a North Pole and a South Pole, each with their own magnetic polarity. But this picture indicates there's currently no dominant polarity at either pole. The models predicted the fields should be mixed up. It's something else they say to actually see it. There it is. The first time we've ever seen it. I go back to the other shot. Pretty cool. All right, my friends, that is the show, the After Party Live for a Monday. I hope you enjoyed hiding in caves and looking at suns and cool pictures of the sea. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let me get that picture down so I can properly bid you adieu. There it is. Okay. I'll go to the chat to see what you guys have to say. Amaze balls of fire. I love it. It's a hoax. I hope no. Yeah, great amaze balls of fire. Yvonne reminds us to hit the like button for the recommendation algorithm. Thank you, Yvonne. I'm so bad. I always forget to ask you to hit the like button and to hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Mindy talking about the glowing cave bones. Oh, beautiful cave. Yeah. Yeah, he got caught. He got caught. He turned himself in, which is still getting caught, right? Yeah. Is there a cave large enough for all of us? I don't know the answer. I'll look for that cave. That'll be my next Monday cave. A huge cave big enough for all of us, right? Yeah, our world is a truly amazing place. All right, everybody. Thank you for all the contributions to the show. You guys are amazing and awesome. And thank you for all the emails. Love the stories that get emailed to me. Tomorrow is Travel Tuesday, and we will be going somewhere tomorrow. If you have any suggestions for where that ought to be, please send me a message, kim@theafterparty.live, and I will take those suggestions and go somewhere interesting based on your recommendations. Until tomorrow, make it a very great day, and I'll see you back here on the YouTube. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
No, we had no show because of tech trouble and the outage of StreamYard last week. So that's what happened. We'll get him this